So hey guys, how you doing? It's Henry here from Fridge. We thought, it's coming up to Christmas and, we're being bombarded by all this advertising all over the place. And we don't really stop to think sometimes how important that what we're actually seeing visually is to our lives. So we thought we'd do a very, a quick snappy piece here before Christmas that you can really get stuck into about the importance of maybe images in business and what a difference it can make. So I reached out to one of the experts in the industry, Amos Struck from stockphotosecrets.com. And so welcome to Fridge, Amos. How you doing?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Absolute pleasure. I mean, you've been in the industry for a very long time, and certainly you've had a lot of experience on the internet. I think you said you've been working around the internet and working on the internet for a good 10 years now.
Correct, yes.
And so not only do you own a stock photo website, you blog about stock photos, you blog about both, the science of it and the how-tos. So, Amos, really, why are images so important in business, especially at the moment?
It's pretty interesting to see. Like I've watched the trend since about a decade now, and if you look at the advertisement and into magazines and everywhere on your mobile phone, I mean, images are the major game changer in the last couple of years for the most businesses. I mean, you get drawn into a business by businesses who use great stock photos or great photos or real looking photos. If you look at Instagram, for example, there's a reason why Facebook paid that much for that little piece of software and huge community behind it. And what we see is like, if you look at just even just at the local businesses or the startups, almost all of them are using imagery heavily now because people are reacting to images totally different now. We are getting into an era where people are, only visual attempted by images and not anymore by text, where we came from the last couple of years, though, which is kind of interesting to see because if you're not having the right images, even if you're a blogger and don't use the right images, you're totally lost, right? Nobody want to read like a text desert anymore. Today I saw a quick little thing on TechCrunch. They are now even using GIFs to animate stuff to get more attracting readers. People are reading, attracted by this GIF animation, which is kind of interesting now, as well as videos getting big as well. But I mean, what I've seen the last couple of years, which is interesting, is like even from my local bakery, who's now using stock photos, right, onto all these normal bloggers and entrepreneurs who just started their business or their blog, all of them are actually using images to get readers, stick to the text parts, obviously, or sell or buy more.
And this might be an unfair question to ask you, especially owning a stock photo website. But do you think sometimes it's good to both mix the real sort of your real business photos with some stock photos? Is that something you should be doing? Because sometimes you go on a website and you think this is stock photos top to bottom, and it just doesn't feel like there's a real business behind it.
Absolutely. I mean, stock photos. I mean, that's another thing which we will talk about in a couple of minutes. If you look at stock photos, most of us can recognize stock photos right away. I mean, all of us know all these white background, people smiling the camera, holding thumbs up, or headset girls or handshakes. I mean, that's something which I recommend not to use anymore. I totally recommend using your own images. And, because everybody with a great smartphone can today shoot great images from you or your team. Or people actually want to see who's behind the website or the service. So that's something which I totally recommend. Don't only use stock images if you can't get real good images from the real team or the real thing, right?
Yeah. And I mean, interesting. Have you seen a change in the look and feel of stock images recently as well? Or
absolutely.
Are we still stuck in the 90s a bit with them?
It's kind of, it's a two-way trend. Okay, there will always be smiling people, thumbs up. Okay, there will be always customers who use that in their businesses or to sell something. It sometimes even works, right? And there's the other trend where you can see that people are looking for more authentic pictures. They are looking for something which looks and feels real. That's something which we saw in the last in our photography trends article, which you can see on stockphotosneakers.com/, photography trends. And that's an article where you can see 50 photography trends. We got them from 10 stock agencies, and they are about the trends 2014. And we'll do another one 2015, obviously. But it's more this retro feeling, having this hipster style images, multi-ethnic diversities, all these selfie shots. And it's getting into more, yeah, it sounds kind of crazy, Instagram style, imagery in some parts of the stock industry. That's what we see. And we see that the quality is going up and up. And it's, you get images as low as $1 or much less if you buy a subscription. And what I actually don't understand, usually is like if you're still using crappy stock photos. I mean, there's no need of using them. Just get better ones. On our website, you will find also an article about 10 stock agencies you never heard of, which is a great piece of content, which leads you to people who offer a different style of imagery, which actually is something which you need to use today because everybody's using images. What happened is like you see the same image over and over again, and it
Yeah,
actually
you tend to do it's a classic. If you're not on the first page of Google, you don't get found. If you go to a stock photo site, you search, the first page or maybe two, and within that you find the image that you want. So, but then you realize everyone else has got that image.
Exactly. Why? Because everybody is filtering down usually by downloads, and because these images are in the databases so long and they are downloading so well, so everybody's buying them, and it's kind of it dilutes the quality of the image, even if it's still a good image, because you have seen this so often, so you can't detach. It's actually not attached to a company or to a service anymore, and that's something which we highly recommend. So they get an image or different images which are attached to the type of business that you're doing, and which in your feeling mirrors the service you're offering or the product you're offering, and people can actually recognize, oh, that's the image of that company or that startup or that service, and not just go away from the normal stock images. I highly recommend that, and it's really cheap now to do that.
So to clarify, do you have any specific advice around finding? Are there any a quick checklist of things to look for when finding a great stock image that works for you? I think you've just said it, but are there any other sort of points that you should really look for?
Yeah, that's the point. Like, usually you use that stock image for a period of time. So it should be an image which you can use, longer than just for one blog post or whatever, because then it's not getting too pricey, right? You can just make sure you can use it over and over again. But also, try different searches. Don't try to find like business women, it's too easy. Also, there's like alternative stock agencies. Some of them, for example, are quite getting famous. One is called stocksy.com, which offers images which are, highly different than from all other stock agencies. They are also in our photography trends article. But there's also like people like Photocase from Berlin, photocase.com. They're offering, non-scene stock photos. They are kind of crazy images, but I love them. They are so different that you should definitely look into them as well. But it's very hard to find an exact point what you should looking for. Just try different source. Don't
Yeah.
go for the big ones if you want to have a special style in them.
So pretty much go to the second page of Google then. And I know you're running at the moment. You're actually running a competition to win an entire. Well, I think it's an entire year subscription. That's 600 images. I mean, how on average, how many images a year do businesses on average? The average, maybe the coffee shop that's got a blog, or there's certainly lots of consultants out there who sort of own their own time, or sort of the sort of practitioners, the accountants, the lawyers, the doctors. Lots of people we talk to have actually got their own blog. So how many images do you really need through the year? Because 600 seems like a really good amount to me. But what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, we found out like, because I talk to so many stock agencies and work together with them, and we actually found out that a lot of these stock agencies offers are, for the high-end customers, and there's not so many for like low volume customers, how we call them. So I would say like 600 images is plenty enough, and you need to know that the 600 images we give away, and it's 3 times 600 images, so it's actually for 3 people can win this giveaway, and it will give you also access to vectors, illustrations, and fonts as well. And it also gives you access to the high res of the image, so you get the highest resolution. You can print them, you can use them in posters and everywhere else as a royalty-free license. We found out
Nice.
that people who have a subscription, they tend to use imagery much more in their communication, in their advertisement, on their blogs, and so on and so forth. If you need to go and purchase an image for $1 every time you write a blog post, you certainly will not use images in your blog post because it's too much work, though. And
Yeah,
if you have a
that's actually an
subscription,
interesting point,
yeah.
is having the availability probably pushes the overall quality of your blog or your business presentation up so much more.
And it just, and I mean, like this giveaway which we give away in I think it's only a couple of days now until it ends. But it's interesting that you can download 50 a month, right? Which is plenty enough. So it's like about 2 a day, like 1.5 a day or so. So you can use even 2 or 3 or 4 in a blog post, because usually you don't write a blog post every day,
Mm.
or an advertising piece or whatever. The good thing is, like, you can keep them and use them later on as well. What we also found out is, like, if people have a subscription, it helps everybody. It helps the people, so they download more, so they use images more, so they get more customers. They get better reaction on Facebook, better reaction in their advertising and emailing campaign. But it actually also helps the photographer, because the photographer actually gets more money because
Yeah.
his images get downloaded more and more, and he has an ongoing stream of income, and that's something which we highly recommend to also helping stock photographers, because they are the people behind all these great imagery.
And just to sort of finish the point off, you're giving away a part of this package is actually vectors and illustrations as well. Are you seeing vectors being used more? And let's go from the start. What are vectors really versus an image?
Actually, a vector is actually, let's say, a little graphic file, and it contains usually a piece of graphic which you can resize unlimited. Unlimited resize is possible with this part of the graphic.
Okay.
And you can take it apart. Usually, if you download a good vector file, which you will obviously get in our giveaway, you can change the colors in the vector file pretty easily with Adobe Illustrator or any other software, and you can resize it, you change it, you rotate it without any loss of image quality. And that's something which a lot of people do in their campaigns or advertisements. As well as all these little icons you usually see are vectors, or stuff you see in mobile apps or vectors. All these little things which are have like a high draw quality. They're usually vectors, and they are included as well as illustrations in the package we're giving away. By the way, the package worth $199 per piece, so it's 3 times $199, or
Yeah.
so it's a cheap price tag, but it's a pretty neat giveaway to get like
Yeah.
1 year mind, and it's a peace of mind. That's something which a lot of people don't understand. It's like, hey, I'm going and go CC3 Flickr imagery and download it for free. Yeah, of course. And if just one thing, if you're downloading a Flickr CC3 Creative Commons image, and there's a person on that image, there's nobody who checked if this person gave away a model or signed a model release that you are actually allowed to use this image commercially.
Interesting.
And that's
So
something people don't know. It's like they're using this, and they can be sued by that person in years for quite a lot of money. Depends on where they're living on the world.
wow. Okay. Wow. Well, that most certainly changes certainly my personal view on your average Flickr search. So, yeah,
Yeah,
very interesting.
and
Well, to get away from the negative
yeah,
and the scary stuff.
exactly. One little thing to win it, you need to go to stockphotosecrets.com /win.
Yep.
You enter your email, and then you can hopefully win it.
So that's stockphotosecrets.com/win. And to wrap this up, um, so we've got both now I'm both scared and I'm very interested how much images could make a difference in sort of our business and everyone else's. What trends do you expect to see in 2015? What do you think is going to be the big thing for images?
I think natural images, like real life images, which actually feel like it were shot by a friend of yours, from you or your people, your friends. Um, and I think the trends of having authentic images will go on, as well as um, more type of retro styly images will still be a high trend 2015. I'm kind of curious what I see as an answer from these stock agencies. So we will have up a new stock photography trends article 2015 when we get the trends back from the stock agencies, what they think which will sell 2015. But I think that the trend will continue what we see 2014, and it will be even more diverse in the term of that. You can still download the white background smiley, thumbs up girl, but you can also go very retro or very specific niche or authentic.
Interesting. Well, bring on 2015, and with all these faster and faster internet connections, images, the detail in images as well. From my point of view, I'd expect to see a high quality of image as well.
Yeah, the image quality is going up. I mean, most stock agencies offer like 16 megapixels and up, which is plenty enough for most usages. But we also see like imagery shot with cameras, which haven't been able to shot like 5 or 10 years ago. So it will be a lot of images like the one on the new iPhone 6. If you have seen this actually is an image bought by the photographer's platform 500px. Which is a platform like Flickr to share images, and the guy sold it to Apple, and they actually bought like two different licenses, and then he found the image. It's a great story though. He found his image on the background of every new iPhone 6.
Oh wow!
It's a landscape shot it's like a night shot, and they just retouched a house out of it. All the rest of the night shot is there. It's like a one time piece of imagery. I bet this guy, when he uploaded it to 500px to share it with his friends and followers, he never thought that Apple will actually buy it and just put it on his new iPhones. And that's something which will happen in the future as well. It's like if you share images, you shoot yourself, or if you shoot like landscape or any special kind of imagery, and you spread it, you will obviously get much more feedback and probably even some money back in the near future, though. That's something which changed now as well as mobile stock photography, but that's another topic, though.
Okay, well, we're going to wrap up today's interview, and we'll definitely be getting you back on, Amos. So do you want to remind people again exactly where they can get their hands and come and join the competition? Because I think you've certainly convinced me we're a publication and we're a magazine already, but you convinced me of both the dangers of certain things and how exciting images can be. So where can people find out a bit more?
Yeah, it's on stockphotosecrets.com/win. Pretty easy. Just answer the question and enter your email. And there's one little thing, like you get a lucky URL after you entered. And if you share this lucky URL, you have a higher chance to win when your friends are joining the competition as well. So actually, if sharing gives you a better chance.
So in this case, you could say sharing is definitely caring, as some plugin used to say. So thank you very much for your time, Amos. It's been absolutely fantastic talking to you and learning about the images, how important they are, and everyone just go over to stockphotosecrets.com/win, and I shall certainly be entering as soon as we finish this chat.
Thanks, Henry, to having me. I'm looking forward to have you, and hopefully you will win one of the 3 of these giveaways.
Thank you, Amos. Have a good day.
You too. Bye-bye.